I started calisthenics when I was 14 years old, and for years I barely looked like I even trained. But after 7 years of figuring this shit out, I finally cracked the system that took me from looking like this skinny little teenager to this jacked physique using nothing but the correct way of calisthenics training. So in this video, I'll break down exactly how I did it, so you don't have to waste years like I did, so that you could just copy me. So yeah, 14 years old. When I actually started, I didn't have a gym, so I had no choice but to do calisthenics in my room and to actually just work with what I already had. Now, this is the case for a lot of calisthenics athletes, because most calisthenics athletes who train with just their body weight, it comes from a place where they don't have anything else. Now, if this is you, you're already on a great path, because a lot of people who do calisthenics because they don't have another option in front of them, they can just do calisthenics, a lot of the times have nothing else to focus on, and that is just their training. You don't have other distractions that you would have in the gym. You don't have other distractions that you would have at crazy workout spots or whatever, where you can, do whatever you want. But when you're in the position where you can just do calisthenics at home or at a park, that's all you can mess with, then that is going to be your training, obviously, right? So it's going to be a lot easier to progress because you don't have distractions. And that is exactly how I started off, which was actually the best way that I could physically start off with training, is just sticking to my pull-ups, push-ups, dips, squats, all the basic movements that you are probably focusing on right now if you're actually on the right path. But for majority of time, I stayed skinny, and that is because I did not actually train the right way. Even though I wanted to become more jacked, I was still training for more of the ego purposes, doing a lot of reps, doing a lot of sets, doing high ass volume that led me to gaining a little bit of muscle, but not anything like I'm gaining now, or not anything how fast I'm gaining right now. So for most people who are doing the more flashy skills or the more higher reps, endurance, a lot of the times you could actually optimize your training a bit better to look also better. Now, yes, there are a bunch of guys who actually look absolutely insanely great. Even they could have crazy improvements if they start doing my style of calisthenics. But for example, Team Semi, that's one of my, that was one of my mentors growing up, bro. That was literally like the first guy who got me into high rep style calisthenics. Even though I'm doing a different style of calisthenics right now, he is the GOAT. I got myself into it, but he led the way, you know what I mean? He sent me text messages here and there saying like, yo, go ahead and try this out, man. Do this set. I watched his YouTube videos all day. That is exactly how I used to start off with. Now, transitioning to now doing a more effective way of calisthenics training to build muscle with it, primarily just to focus on your growth, this is going to be the best option for you. So if you don't want to spend 7 years figuring this shit out like I had to, I put everything in a step-by-step program, blueprint, that you can now follow, called the Jacked by Calisthenics Blueprint, and it's linked in the top link in the description. I'll take you from skinny to jacked within 6 months, and inside of there you can actually also sign up for my one-on-one coaching, where I'm going to be taking your hand personally and really guiding you along the entire journey to get jacked. So if you want to follow the exact system that I use, top link in the description. So let's get into chapter number 1, why most guys actually don't grow with calisthenics. And it's because of numerous reasons, right? But I feel like the main 3 that I'm about to name are the most common, and if you avoid those, you're already set out to build quite a impressive physique by just focusing on simple training. So mistake number 1 that most people make is doing too much. So the most common mistake that people always do is that they have a bunch of focuses. I want you to just focus on one main thing, which is an exercise selection that is known for you to work. Now, yes, this is going to take some finding out, obviously, because for everyone it's a little bit different. It's for everyone, a certain training routine doesn't really seem as enjoyable for other guys. Like for me, doing exercises that I've been doing for 7 years straight is still enjoyable for me. For other people, they want to make shit up constantly. I understand, but still, the best way to do it is by sticking on a certain routine that you know is going to work for you and that you can actually stick to for a very, very, very long time. Then the second mistake is not training. Very, very simple mistake. Not training for muscle growth. If you're trying right now to balance the handstand and to, hold the front lever for some time, but your goal is to really just transform your body, then you should probably leave that behind, because it's not really getting you to grow muscle. Of course, you're going to see some differences because your body is training. It's working hard to get to a certain level, but it's not the way to actually see the most muscle growth that you could see if you just start prioritizing the real way of building muscle with calisthenics, the best way. And then the third mistake is very simple, not training intense enough. enough. So if you are the type of guy right now who is always leaving a bunch of reps in reserve, who is not really implementing new variations into his routine that he's actually not good at, but he's prioritizing them because he knows that whatever he is not good at, he's going to actually learn from and grow from, and he's prioritizing variations, leverages, tempos, range of motions that are difficult for him right now that are going to lead him to a better physique. If you're not doing that, you need to start looking into that right now. Wake the fuck up. If you're going to be literally doing the same thing over and over again, I'm sorry, you know that you're not going to see results, and you know that because you know secretly, intrinsically, that progressive overload doesn't work like that. You have to put in a little bit more effort every time by going to the next level and going to the next level and going to the next level, literally forever, and it doesn't end with calisthenics, trust me. So we should fix these mistakes in order to already start to build more muscle, and this is what I had to fix in my 7-year journey to be able to gain more muscle with calisthenics and actually get jacked instead of stay skinny for majority of time. So now let's get into chapter number 2, training calisthenics like weights. I learned a lot about bodybuilding, and I really do find a lot of my inspiration from bodybuilder style training and bodybuilders. Even though I'm not a bodybuilder, I'm a calisthenics athlete who builds muscle with it, of course. But even though my priority right now is building the best physique possible, I'm not a bodybuilder like you see other bodybuilders, right? Like, that's not my main focus, even though I am trying to build my physique up. But I am trying to focus on getting better at the sport of calisthenics. But if you want to gain muscle with it, then applying some bodybuilder knowledge into your training could actually do such a good job for you of building muscle with it, man. Imagine you applying the same mindset that Ronnie Coleman used to have, or whatever, or some very good bodybuilders nowadays who are very meticulous and very strategic with their training, and they actually optimize everything to build muscle. If you start to implement some of that to calisthenics with the calisthenics motions of doing pike push-ups upside down, fucking Nordic negatives, pull-ups, chin-ups, muscle-ups if you do them, dips, do you know how strong of an athlete you're going to become? It's unbelievable. But if you start implementing that into your bodyweight training, but even your weighted calisthenics training and your functional style calisthenics training, if you implement that mindset into it, bro, you're literally going to be unstoppable, bro. You're going to be so insanely strong, because look at the calisthenics athletes. Look at me, who is doing, you know, a shit ton of pull-ups with a bunch of weight. And I would literally argue that I'm in the top 1% of the 1% strength. The reason why is because not a lot of people are doing this shit. That's why if you watch this channel and if you are in my Jack by Calisthenics blueprint or implementing some of my tips, you're extremely rare. I'm like, trust me, you're literally percent of the 0.0003 million zeros 1%, because you're so unique doing this style of calisthenics, because you're insanely strong. Most bodybuilders who do our style of calisthenics wouldn't even survive for a fucking day because they can't do what we do. So if you're watching this, you are literally very unique. You are one of the top strength athletes in the world doing this shit. And that is exactly what got me from skinny to jacked, because I started to implement this mindset with my calisthenics training, and I started to gain way more muscle. So for you, if right now your push-up and pull-up and dip is like your main priority, right? That's like the basics where you just go off of, and you're implementing these tips from bodybuilders and mindset and the same style of training, but with these challenging exercises and variations, and you're implementing those variations into your training every single week and you're rotating through them, I swear, if you do that consistently, you will be the strongest in your entire gym if you go to one. So if you go to the gym, the moment you walk in, you're the strongest guy in there. I'm sorry, even though you might not even be able to bench 225, I don't give a fuck. You are literally the strongest guy in there. That's why I was so fucking confident in the gym. I knew that I was the strongest. Nobody repping 50 kg on pull-ups, strict. Nobody. That's why I was like, fuck, yo, bro. You know what I'm saying? I felt unbeatable. And that's exactly what you're going to be feeling with this. So if you want to feel that even more, bro, check the video I have put out for you in the top link in the description. Just click it, watch it, and bro, I swear that's exactly what you're going to be wanting. Because the roadmap I am explaining here is exactly what's laid out in the blueprint in the link in the description. The exercises, the progressions, the routines, so you don't have to actually waste time guessing on what to actually do. So if you're serious about growth and you actually want to see that progress, link in the description. That's where you should be. So I'll see you inside. So let's get into the next chapter. My training framework for muscle growth. The progressive overload, the volume, the exercise selection, and the intensity. Those 4 things are so important. You have to look at those and adjust them to be able to gain the most muscle with it. So as a calisthenics athlete, doing these exercises that I just explained to you, the close grip ring pull-ups, the ring chin-ups, the ring dips, the normal dips, deep push-ups, whatever, those are very effective, as we know. But the beautiful thing about it is if we start implementing some crazy intensity upon it and low volume, and we can focus fully on that exercise selection and on those low sets that we're doing, the progress that we're going to see is literally insane. So when it comes to the progressive overload, the first thing that you want to change is just implement some new variations into it. So if you're always used to the pull-up or the dip or the push-up, just a regular variation, the number one thing that I want you to do right now is start changing it to a more difficult variation to what you're used to, where the reps are going to drop with 3 reps. So you'll be able to do 3 reps less than what you're able to do with the normal variation. Just change it to that difficult of a variation, build up to the normal rep range that you were sticking to before, and the progress is going to shoot the fuck up. Do that with every single thing. You could be doing close grip pull-ups on the ring. You could be doing dips a little bit more wider so that you can get a deeper stretch. You could just simply add more range of motion to it or slower tempo to every single one of them. Trust me, the growth is going to come when you do this. Now, when it comes to the volume, we want to just focus, if you actually want to see the best results, focus on just literally 10 sets per muscle group, to where you're going all out for each and every single 10 sets that you're doing. Could we see more results with more sets? Maybe, but it's not about that. We want to right now focus as much as we can on a certain amount of sets. I'm telling you right now, if you do 20 sets with half-ass and you're not really focusing on them like half, you're gonna make less progress than the guy who is fully focusing on 50% less of it. 10 sets. So if you actually want to get jacked by calisthenics without wasting years like I did, join the Jacked by Calisthenics Blueprint right now. It's my full program, everything you need from modules, workout programs, assistance from me, so that you can actually gain muscle with calisthenics in 6 months time. So if you want that and you're actually serious about this journey, then the top link in the description is exactly for you. Now, watch this video right here. I'm going to be showing you why you don't actually need more than 10 sets of working hard.